So tonight I really wanted to come quickly because I keep getting this question over and over. How's that light? Is it okay? I keep getting this question over and over, like what's the difference between self-publishing and traditional publishing? And I know that I've done this kind of video before, but I wanted to just do it one more time, just in case anybody's writing this weekend and is thinking, oh, or you finished books and you're thinking, I just got to get my stuff out and I don't know what to do. Really quickly. When you are self-publishing, it's about legacy for me. I can't speak for everybody, but self-publishing is really about legacy. The way that I see self-publishing is my words passed down to my children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, so on and so forth. It's really the thing that I want to say outside of what anyone else wants me to say. So self-publishing is really about legacy. Of course, you're going to want someone to edit it and help you, make it look a very certain way. But whatever you're working on, if you want to self-publish or you're wondering, should I self-publish or traditional publish or what's the difference, that's what we're talking about today. So if you're thinking about, hey Des, if you are thinking about self-publishing, reach out to Des too, but it's important to be thinking about what is it I want to be passing on. If you don't have children, that's not really relevant. What is it you want to share with the world that you don't really want anyone else to change? That's the part that's particularly important. Now, the other piece of self-publishing is that you pay for it yourself. That being said, you have a multitude of options, and look up lots of publishers. Of course, look up Discover Diversity Publishing, but look up lots of self-publishers. There's tons, and you can kind of sift through what you're looking for and what you want with self-publishing. Now, on the other hand, there is traditional publishing, and that's when you have your manuscript together and you send it out to traditional publishers, which Discover Diversity Publishing is also. And so you send it out with the hopes that someone will look at it and say, oh, I really like this manuscript. Let me get it from you. Let me buy the rights to it, essentially, and give you some royalties and chop it up and make it sort of look like more of what I want it to look like or the other publisher wants it to look like. So there's nothing wrong with this end of it either. Traditional publishing is beautiful. It's generally the way that you end up winning lots of literary awards and other things that can help give you more notoriety. The trick about traditional publishing is that you end up having if you are not known now, if you're not famous now, which is okay, you could be Facebook famous though, if you're not known right now, then what people end up doing is they don't really push your book that much. So they might get it into some spaces, but once it's in those spaces, it's really hard for people to come and want to buy it. I mean, if your book is on a shelf, if you look back there, it's not really a shelf, it's on a mantle. But if your book is on some shelves in some stores, that's great. But if people don't know who you are and where you are, it's really tricky. So traditional publishing is amazing in terms of like getting people known, and you can say, look, I'm a published author, and that's always like cool to say. But you have to keep in mind that you still have to hustle. So at the end of the day, no matter what you choose, if you're choosing to traditionally publish or self-publish, you're going to have to do some hustling. So this is talking about, and I'll do another live video next week about editing, and then about manuscripts, and then about printing, and then about distribution. But there are some really real things when it comes to self-publishing that as an author, you're going to want to know. The process, Desiree can speak to, but the process is actually really quite fascinating, and there's lots of steps to it. But in any case, you really are going to have to make a decision. What it is you want to share with people, and if you're okay with that thing changing. So this was a really quick video, guys. It's come up. I've gotten a lot of emails, and I wanted to just quickly talk about it, even though my lighting is really not great. That's okay. Just to say, if you're thinking about publishing a book, if you come to us, the first question we'll ask you is if you're thinking of traditionally publishing or self-publishing. And your first question is going to be like, I don't even know what the difference is. That's okay. You're not expected to know, but this video is for you. If you're not sure the difference between self-publishing and traditional publishing, I really want you to be thinking about legacy versus notoriety. if you're hoping to be noticed and recognized and almost I don't want to say famous because you can make yourself famous with self-publishing, but the main key is that if you are self-publishing, you have this legacy, this piece of your identity that you want to carry on about you in the way that you want it to carry on, not in the way that a publisher wants you to carry it on. And so those are the things to really, really, really honestly ask yourself. In 2016, things are shifting so quickly, which is amazing because it really opens up the landscape for everyone to become very important. It's my favorite thing about this millennium. It really is so cool. If any of you remember before year 2000, everybody that was famous seemed so much more important. They seemed so much bigger and grander and untouchable. But we're living in a time where you don't have to be untouchable. No one has to be untouchable. You can be anything that you want to be, as cheesy as that sounds. So really, really quickly, legacy versus notoriety. Think about it. If you have any other questions, never ever hesitate to send me a link directly and just ask me to do a video or just ask to speak with me directly. I love talking about books. They're sort of my life, other than my kids. So let's have that conversation. But everybody have a really happy Friday. Peace and blessings.